more. Unfortunately, I don't see Walter Niemi, who should be the session chair, which is strange why he didn't join us. Let's. Okay, I will try to then lead this session. To be honest, I'm completely not an expert in the field of security and privacy. I watched the presentation, but anyway, I hope that other authors and participants will actually help me in discussions and questions. So really, it's not my primary field of competencies. Let's move to the presentations, and I don't see. Do you have authors for the first talk? Influence of FRUCT dimension statistical characteristics on quality of network attacks.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Could you maybe summarize in 1 minute your study and maybe a few words about background with your team?
We had some research on this. We have a previous work on this theme. We have worked with other data set. So the main theme is searching anomalies using machine learning algorithms and with some characteristic of network traffic. Anyway, we had some research about this in the previous work. We worked on some kind of old data set in SLKDD 99th of year, and on this work we actualized the data set, tried to add new metrics, new features to learn for machine learning algorithms, and finally we got the result that our new features have very good impact on machine learning algorithms, and we'll continue with this.
Okay, good. It was actually really interesting for myself to look your presentation, learning new things on this use of fractals was also our keynote talk on the close NAS topic yesterday. Questions from the participants. Any questions so far? Maybe. Oh yes, please, Adim.
Hello, I have a question after plenary story about similar work. Its question is, has the possibility to identify traffic anomalies been investigated using fractal data without other traffic data?
Yes, very good question, thank you. So it is possible, yes. It is, maybe in future we will try to mark the raw data, for example, with time intervals and so on, just counting intervals for 10 seconds, 11, no, so on, and then mark the traffic and try to understand whether it's possible, if it be better, we will if it has an impact on algorithms.
Thank you.
Was I clear enough?
Maybe one question from my side. Always, actually, I also have left this question from yesterday's presentation. What is the computational complexity of this kind of approach? So how much it's applicable for energy dependent devices in general?
Let me think. I don't really know how it is energy complexity, but studying algorithms learning have a 1 second. Just a minute. I will try to answer. So, machine learning algorithms has high energy impact on the process, on the energy. So it depends on the machine learning algorithms. For example, in this work, we have mentioned that the decision tree algorithm and random forester has a really small time of learning and predicting. So it could save energy in this way. So very low time. So it could be. It might be possible to study at real time with new traffic and so on. But the complexity of counting is not really high, I think, because the most hard way in this work was to clean the attacks from all the raw traffic.
Right. Yeah, basically, yeah. So probably it could be applied also for the mobile device directly.
Yes, of course. Modern mobile devices has very high performance nowadays. It's the architecture is very high.
Okay.
High performance. Yes.
Right. Okay. So basically, yeah, it's applicable. Good. Thank you. Any other questions? Then thank you, Mikhail. Really interesting work, and we can move to the second talk.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks. Yeah. I see it's co-designing employees' data privacy, technology consult company use case. Yes, I see. The author is
yeah,
here.
I'm here.
Great. Again, in 1 minute, could you maybe summarize your work and maybe a few words about it?
Yeah, just to briefly say, it was essentially targeted in an employee data context and how we can co-design a service that can provide more transparency, that can provide control to people over their data, but also build an understanding of how data can be used working in large organizations that are becoming really reliant on data. And there were different sort of co-design methodologies used, like, a survey, interviews, but then at the same time workshops to evaluate prototype, as well as on the other side, help development teams become more considerate and sensitive towards the data they use. And just like this, in the end, come up with the prototype, but also this co-design framework that can be used in many such situations where, you're using personal data of people. So, I mean, the results are pretty promising, and this proposal as a framework is also really relevant and can be extended further in the future as well for other specific areas. I think that's a summary of it. But yeah, I'm welcome to any questions on specific things.
Thank you. Yeah, this topic is really interesting and relevant. One thing that I somehow missed when I watched your presentation is, do you take into account somehow the internal culture in the company? Because it definitely has a major impact on these issues.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did sort of keep it as something to keep in mind when extending the research, because this was done in a Finnish context, and I think Finland is quite the culture towards data, and also like the teams are also quite, when you're working in tech in the industry, people are already quite advanced in their knowledge of data and also quite concerned, and they start at a higher level of knowledge in that. So that definitely, I think, makes the results a bit more positive. So then, you can use this framework in specifically similar cultural settings, possibly. And then would be interesting to compare with a slightly different cultural setting, possibly in an Asian country where it might be completely different, and the way people address their data or use data or think about data is very, very different. But and there might be a huge divide in employee versus employer's view of employee data as well. So yeah, I do think this affects it slightly, especially. So I think it'll be more, you need to take into account whenever you're taking this framework in a different setting and co-designing with people in a different country, for example. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, because at least from my experience working both for large Finnish companies, for example, in the past, and for US companies, it's not only about culture of the country culture, original country culture of the employees, but there is a significant impact by the company. Do I understand correctly that the provided result measurements for a single company? So all measurements were done in probably large scale company, or at least middle scale company.
Yes, I think it's mentioned it's like around 500 to 600 employees. So,
right. Okay, yeah, thank you. Any other questions to this team? Then thank you very much, and we can move to the next presentation.
Thank you.
And I think Vadim, yes, I see Vadim is here. Vadim, could you maybe summarize your work and your team?
Yeah, okay. My work it's about dual mathematical model for calculation deep packet inspection system. This work done with Professor Goldstein from our university, and this work is part of research DPI system modeling. In this work we describe dual mathematical model for calculation deep packet inspection. It's based to approach where we presented DPI system as a queuing network, consists from several queuing systems. In really we use two queuing systems, queuing system 1 and queuing system 2, and use different math model to different this queuing system. The queuing system 1 work with packet traffic, and we use Economus model. It's based on the fractal Browning motion distribution for pocket traffic. And second math model is Wenzel-Ovcharov model for queuing system 2. And after them we use simulation model of DPI created in GPSS and compare results math model and simulation model. And in this work, one important thing is formalize initial parameter is intensivity of request input on Queen System 1 and Queen System 2. I think it's all briefly about work. I can answer to questions.
Yes, thank you. Vadim, any questions from participants? Maybe to start discussion, question from my side. It's great. I think that you use real data collected on the campus of your university.
Yes.
It's always, let's say, a good sign, and there was quite massive amount of data used. But how about generalization? Because this is something I missed in also in when I checked the paper. So basically, could you maybe elaborate a bit on what makes you confident that the results obtained for this particular settings, this particular environment are applicable and still even to make stronger true in a more generalized environment?
I'm not sure about I correct understand your question, but I try to answer. Yeah, we use real data from Bonch campus, and it's used to receive a table of initial realistic parameters to check math and simulation models, and compare views about it's only Roach estimate, but it's not good correctly model. It's first step, and it's possible to use, but I think next step we need compare this result with real DPI system, work with real traffic, and after this we can have more correctly results.
Okay, yeah, you answered my question. Yeah, I see that it's really like a first step. Then no questions here, sure. Thank you. Other questions from session participants? Okay, thank you very much, Vadim. Really interesting study, and looking forward for continuation and your new results. And with this, we can move to the fourth presentation. It's a comparison of information security systems for asymptotic information security management, critical information infrastructures. I trying to see if we have presenters online. Any of the authors online? Oh, pity. So looks like we don't have authors with us. No. So then, just in case they will join later, maybe we'll return to this. But for now, move then to the next presentation. It's from it's threat and security issues in cloud storage and content delivery networks analysis. I see that Alexander is here. Alexander, could you maybe summarize, same as other authors done, please summarize maybe your work and some words about your team.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. I want to give a word to the Daniel, which who is the main contributor of our research. Daniel, please provide the description.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alexander. Good afternoon, everyone. So our main goal and aim to this work was to create a new threat model based on content delivery network used as, cloud storage used as content delivery network. So we have found that many users now, because they are moving to the cloud, they are thinking, they are using actually cloud storages as content delivery network. And already several cloud providers are claiming actually that they can offer storages as content delivery network. But actually, we have found that when users are using actually those services, cloud storage as content delivery network, there are several issues and there are several threats that could affect their storage or their data actually severely. Meanwhile, when it is not yet, when it's only on the content delivery network, their data may not be severely affected as it's the case when their data are stored in the storage. So we have designed a threat model, and we have designed also a table how actually threats which are essentially used or which affect essentially content delivery network can affect cloud storage used as content delivery network. So that's actually the summary of what we did.
Okay, thank you. Highly relevant and really interesting direction, especially taking into account the popularity of these services. To start discussions, first question from my side. How do you see what has this kind of user agreement that majority of major cloud storage providers have at the moment? How well they actually address these privacy issues? So how much the service level agreement match to the actual privacy demand?
Actually, there are some providers who, for example, have a high service level agreement. What I mean by high is that their storages are more secured because they offer encryption of data at rest. But some other providers are offering data encryption only when you yourself decide to encrypt your data at rest with your private key. But some providers actually are doing it by default, which is really good. And now, not every providers are claiming that it is possible to use their storage, or that their storage are conformed, for example, to ISO 27001 rule, for example, or hyper actually to secure to save medical data. So not all providers are offering those service level agreements for now, but some of them are offering those ones.
Okay, yeah, good. And generally, what is your impression on how well the service providers communicate these kind of security issues to the users? Because again, I'm not an expert in the technical field related to this security issues, but my feeling that nowadays people very aggressively use this kind of network storages for storing absolutely different types of data, including really highly sensitive data, privacy sensitive data. And I have a feeling that maybe currently providers are not so well in touch with their users and so not so well explain what are potential threats and risk. What's your opinion of it?
So, as you said, you are right. Many providers actually are not really explaining or giving some good tips on how to use properly their infrastructure. But nevertheless, we have to understand that it's also the concern of the user to know how to use the cloud services. So it's not only at the level of the cloud provider, because many cloud providers are actually giving documentation on how to use their services. They are publishing new articles or new tutorials on how to use their services, but actually not every or not seeing not every users are aware of it. That's one, and many users are not even reading those guides, and they don't know actually what is going on. They simply use their services. So I think cloud services should cloud providers should emphasize and encourage users to know more their technologies, to be able to use properly what they are offering. And it is true that some of them are providing some courses, some sessions, or some seminars for free, which is already a good step. But I think there are more things to do at that level. And also it is possible for them, for example, when they are releasing, for example, some services, to give access to some users to perform a black box testing. So to find out security issues and to find out also if there are some data leakage or if there are some flaws that can be found in their systems.
Yeah, thank you. Sounds really interesting. I think your work might be actually, you at least in your shoes, I would consider maybe to even think of preparing a white paper for providers on top of your current findings. It might be useful, in fact.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions to the authors? Seems no. Thank you again. And with this, we move to the sixth talk of the session. It's security issues of smart contracts in Ethereum platforms. Do we have authors online? Oh, that's pity. I really was interesting to discuss this talk. Just in case, maybe somebody from the comparison of information security systems for asymptotic information security management critical information infrastructures, maybe some of the authors joined us? No. Okay, thank you very much. Pity that Valtteri couldn't join us. He's really one of the top experts in security, so I'm sure he would be able to ask way more technical and interesting for authors questions than me. My questions are primarily for myself to help me learn better your topic. but I must say that I really enjoy presentations of this section. So thanks to all watchers, and I hope to see you in the next sessions. So with this, probably we can close this Q&A session and can move to other sessions. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
We'll hear you later.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.